Hi, it's Ileana. So today I'm going to go to the dark side of the moon and have a look at what's going on. I'm looking at human presence, I'm looking at reptilian presence, and I'm sensing a lot of cargo being moved, humans moving cargo and being watched by large reptilians, pale white-skinned reptilians, grayish-skinned reptilians, and some reptilians with greenish, grayish skin, like 10 feet tall, 9 feet tall, 8 feet tall, and just monitoring cargo being moved on these large platforms, like several platforms which look like domed bases, but standalones near each other, and docking ports and docking stations. So like this is like a military base with humans and reptilians there. Tons of cargo being moved, humans being mind directed by reptilians what to do, how to move the cargo, which ships to load it. Some of the cargo is parts of craft. Some of the cargo is cryogenic stasis chambers, bodies of exotic beings, humans and galactic beings. So it's like a trade center, a military base with a lot of activity going on there, and humans directed what to do. Cargo ships lifting off, landing in secret docking bases, docking ports, and this is a huge operation. So live beings, dead beings being moved, various genetic research happening into the genetic libraries of different beings, how genetics are spliced, pure genetics, mixed genetics of beings, exotic living beings, galactics and humans, interbreeding, forced interbreeding for experiments, and seeing how rare genomes can be extracted from beings, different liquids, different energy sources of living beings being extracted for study, and sometimes ingestion. So this is happening on the dark side of the moon, in the middle of the dark side of the moon, like in the middle part. And all these projects start and finish in detail, and then new projects are set up and experiments. So this is a research study base and a military base that does this with humans controlled by reptilians. 3 sets of different reptilians who have a conglomerate agreement to do this. And they've been doing this for 40 years on the dark side of the moon. They've been stationed there for 40 years. But they've had their origins for 4,000, 5,000 years on that dark side of the moon. They've only formed their conglomerate with the 3 reptilian species, the white reptilians, for the last 40 years, working in joint projects, research, military, cargo, moving live beings, dead beings, switching out experiments to see what works with genomics and genes, splicing and interbreeding what doesn't. They've had several failed projects and about 10 successful projects with interbreeding of exotic galactic beings and doing these intermixed project work together in these large type of platform stations that are research facilities, docking ports, and all of this is done in secret, obviously. A lot of moving parts and a lot of human personnel being controlled, taken from different programs and put into this reptilian base. And they're mind controlled, so they're not fully aware of that they don't have freedom because of the mind control. So reptilians have the ability to deep mind control somebody's psyche. And you have subsurface level of awareness in your subconsciousness, what you're doing, but you're like a programmed automaton doll who's moving and doing what you're told, what you're directed energetically through psych consciousness control to do. And you're contracted to do that for 10 years of your life. You're given away to do this work. Then at the end of the 10 years, if you've done your work correctly, you might be released back to your original space program, whoever gave you away, if they take you back. So this is like slavery, space slavery, and human trafficking at its worst, with humans being used as puppet pawns for reptilian mind control, being a workforce to do genetic experiments. The reptilians themselves conduct the genetic experiments, but the humans are used as moving cargo, to move cargo, and to set up relay study stations on these large dome platforms of the reptilian base to just monitor communications, monitor security infrastructure, the day-to-day tasks of running these bases, to assist the reptilians with that, to keep the infrastructure going and moving and building out new parts of it as needed. They're told what to build as you need to expand the infrastructure. This is what I'm getting as the basics of this base reptilian, one of the largest reptilian bases in the middle of the dark side of the moon. It's a conglomerate setup of 3 reptilian species that are doing genetic projects with exotic ETs, exotic extraterrestrials that they capture specifically for genetic experimentation, interbreeding projects, energy experiments. They study also psychic abilities, and they sometimes take even the humans from the programs who have strong psychic abilities, and they break apart their brains to see how these abilities work and study them to best modulate the mind control sequencing on the humans. The experiments on humans have also been done quite a bit, and it's connected to space projects. And they've taken humans from other human bases that are on the moon and subjugated them to reptilian programming as workforce, slave labor, and genetic and mind control experiments. That's what happens on this large base with huge dome platforms that go off the ground and docking facilities and stations that go underground. And it's not been detected by anyone or stopped. So there's still reptilian activity going on the moon. And there's still various programs, human-run space programs, with many bases on the moon. The reptilian base is just one of many other type of bases that is on the moon. Dark side of the moon in particular, in many different crafts coming and going from these bases, and surveillance happening. A lot of this going on as well. So this is what I'm picking up from what's going on the dark side of the moon as a mini remote viewing, psychic sensing. And this is done real-time live. And I'm just taking my consciousness to the dark side of the moon, in the middle of the dark side of the moon, to have a look what I'm seeing there. That's a dark part of what's happening current time right now. So in terms of moon liberation, there's a dark alliance of reptilian beings and humans who have sold out their own species for dark, nefarious things going on at the moon. That's tidal locked to Earth, and we don't see the dark side of the moon ever and what happens there. So there's a dark alliance that has sold humanity out to reptilians and other species of groups on the moon who control humans for various nefarious projects. And that dark alliance is still in control of what happens in the space programs, connections to reptilians, and what happens as well on Mars, the moon, and what happens in our local galaxy sectors in the solar systems. That's something else I'm picking up on. And this dark alliance holds a tight grip on the space programs and humans. What happens on Earth, off planets, Moon and Mars, it's all interconnected. And the technologies that this dark alliance puts out for human regeneration technology, life extension projects, AI technology, interstreaming with human parts, bodies, thought consciousness connection, AI robotics, AI cybernetics, life extension regeneration technologies to do with holographic technology and physical biological components of humans, warping human DNA, warping the natural genetic blueprints, experiments, mind control, perhaps even selling this to the public somehow on Earth and off-world as a good thing to happen, even though it's not. It's controlling humans as to help them, like to rescue them, to save their souls, to save their bodies, genetics, claiming to give back something that was stolen, which was never stolen, and actually disrupting the human life cycle evolution of organic evolution mixed in with transmutation, transhumanism, to corrupt the organic body, to mix it with engineering, something that is robotic, cybernetic, non-organic, some human component, organic with non-organic being mixed in with what's claimed as life-saving technologies coming to us. But it's the Dark Alliance creating a false narrative of hope. So that's something else that's coming in as what's planned for the humans. Yet it's nothing good, but it's coming in as a package that it's going to save us, extend our life, cure us of disease, of many diseases, give us false hope, what's to come, and promising us life regeneration, life-saving technology that would be used in secret experiments and warp our genetics, warp our bodies, and change us into something that shouldn't be happening biologically to us, disturbing natural human biology and evolution to something that is a AI singularity and consciousness being disconnected from universal life source frequency and being further put in a matrix system that is non-organic, synthetic telepathy, synthetic mind control issues coming up in what humans are implanted with against their will, not understanding when they enter these life regeneration technologies, they're implanted with technology that will connect them to a hive matrix instead of setting them free and curing them of diseases. That's what's happening on the moon. in plant projects for Earth-based programs eventually. It's interconnected with different human programs or different extraterrestrial agendas as well. It's not clean, but that's what's happening on the moon, and its plans for Earth as well. It's sinister and dark, but that's what I'm seeing as well happening in planned projects. And it's not pure. It's not pure intention. It's control and manipulation of humans to deliver something that's supposed to save them and heal them, but will do the opposite and will connect them to non-organic substances and machines that will warp DNA, warp our bodies, and make us into non-human entities. Even though we'll have biological bodies, they won't be under our control anymore. So that's the plan from the moon by the Dark Alliance. It's something that's been in the works for the last 4 years, and they want this out soon for humans. In these life extension technologies, machines, and cures that are not really cures for what humans want to cure, genuinely. It's not what it seems. These programs are not what they seem and what they can do for humans. So that is what I'm sensing is going on as projects on the moon from various groups connected to this Dark Alliance, working for them, claiming to be the good side when it's not. That's what's coming in from the dark side of the moon as plans. And so having this awareness is important. Following organic human evolution, organic healing, I think is important. And just not giving over free will choice to others. That's just what's coming in for me personally as the remote viewing is now completed. So thank you so much.